Representative Kavros, DeGraw.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to echo what my good colleague, the chair of the Housing Committee, just said in terms of all the people that he thanked. And I want to add to that our staff, who is primarily still in the building with us as we cross 11 hours and 17 minutes. I did start a timer when we started because I was curious how long we'd go. We're not tired. We are not tired because we do not get to be tired. And the only thing that we might be tired of is the incremental progress that we have made on housing over the last few years. This is a much larger step forward. I am grateful for the discussions that we had today because we do have 169 towns and municipalities, and it really is important that we understand. And I would like to believe that this effort and all of the bills that went into this, that received public hearings, that had public testimony, that had the opportunity for committee members on both sides of the aisle to engage, that had all of our advocates, all of the people who were against things we were doing. There were so many voices over and over, the Majority Leaders Roundtable. We have heard from an enormous amount of people, and the overwhelming majority have said to us that they need help and they need to understand how we are not moving forward with housing. And so I will say this, the middle housing piece is probably one of the most important pieces to me. And I say that because I did not grow up in Connecticut. But where I did grow up, I had to live with my grandparents and my mom for 8 years. And that was because of the way my father chose to leave my mother. And after 8 years of saving up, because of my blessed grandparents who didn't take a dime in rent, after 8 years, my mother was able to purchase a townhouse. It was 3 levels. In the north, you call them row houses. My cousins made that seem like a bad thing, but it was a beautiful thing for this single mom who didn't remarry until I was 16 years old and was carrying everything on her shoulders to be able to provide a roof over my head that was not with my grandparents, as lovely as they were. And those are the people that I think of when we do this work. I think of those single moms. I think of those single dads. I think of the people, and especially I think of a woman who spoke to me last year about her living in a homeless shelter with her 2 children and how she is working 2 jobs, how she had a housing voucher, and basically when she got called up to a building they had previously lived in. And she chose not to take the housing voucher because she knew that there was such a high probability that if she took that housing voucher, that her children would probably get shot because that building that she lived in before had a high crime rate. And I think that when you look at the depth and breadth of this bill, is this going to get us housing overnight? Absolutely not. But is it going to get us housing over time? Absolutely is going to get us housing over time. It is going to help us reduce that homeless population. It is going to get people into safe housing. Not everyone sees it as a moral obligation for people to have housing. I am a person who sees it as a moral obligation and, frankly, a moral failing if we are not doing more to provide housing for people in the state of Connecticut. I know we cannot solve the housing crisis overnight, but we, with thoughtful planning, can make a huge dent in both the housing crisis and the climate crisis. And I am grateful to those who are voting for this today, and I am grateful to those who someday may see that they wish they had voted for it. And I am grateful for the conversation we had. And I thank you, and I look forward to voting for the bill, Mr. Speaker.